Welcome on board, chosen one. Funny how everyone pretended they didn't see you coming. Funny how they acted like you were harmless, forgettable, predictable. And now look at them. They can't even whisper your name without their voices cracking. They used to talk so big, right? Running their mouths like they owned the place. But now the same people who tried to laugh at you can't even laugh near you. They switch topics when your shadow passes by. They choke on their own words the moment someone mentions what you did, what you survived, what you became. That silence they hide behind. It's not respect, it's fear. Because when they said you'd never rise, you did. When they said you were done, you weren't. When they thought you'd stay broken, you rebuilt yourself in a way they never saw coming. And now they're terrified because the truth is out there, raw and burning. You're not the same person they tried to play with. You're the upgrade they prayed would never exist. The version of you they can't outrun. The storm they can't hide from. The one who knows exactly who they are behind their cheap masks. Chosen one, if you're feeling this and you're ready to back this message, press the like button and subscribe to send this energy right back into the universe. Because let me paint the scene for you. Their world is weirdly quiet lately. It's that kind of silence that happens after a disaster when the dust is still falling. They pretend life is good, but their eyes dart around, checking if your name will be spoken out loud. They don't even gossip about you anymore, not because they grew mature, not because they respect you, but because gossiping about you now feels like poking a sleeping lion. They know you hear things. They know you sense energy. They know you don't need cameras or witnesses. You see through people in a way that makes their souls itch. The universe gave you this strange glow, and they can't handle it. You walk into a room and their confidence glitches. They look away too fast. They laugh too loud. They talk too much. Classic fear symptoms. They're scared to look you in the eye because your eyes tell them everything they've been avoiding. You figured them out. You cracked their game. You read their intentions months before they had the courage to act on them. Here's the fun part. They wear their masks like helmets, hoping no one notices the cracks. But you do. You always have. Their smiles are forced. Their energy glitches. Their hands shake when they hear your name. They'd rather chew glass than admit you intimidate them. So instead, they fake control. They fake strength. They fake being over it. But the truth sits on their chest every night like a warning. They pushed the wrong person. They underestimated the only one who was built for the long game. And don't get it twisted. They didn't just avoid you. They avoid any thought that leads back to you. Because thinking about you reminds them of every mistake they made, every lie they told, every chance they wasted. You became the reminder of their failure. You became the mirror they can't escape. And mirrors don't lie, no matter how much they wish they did. You ever notice how the loudest enemy always becomes the quietest when the truth hits? That's them now. They're quiet because your success is climbing too fast. They're quiet because their little stories don't work anymore. They're quiet because the universe started answering for you, and suddenly all their noise sounds like cheap comedy. They tried to make you the joke. Now they're the punchline. Look at how they move, sneaky, nervous, paranoid, checking if you're watching even when you're not. They thought you'd be broken forever. They prayed for it. They celebrated it. But pain changed you in ways they never predicted. You came out sharper, colder, smarter. You walk with a calm that scares them more than your anger ever could. And here's a little story they'll never admit. The day you stopped reacting, they panicked. The day you went silent, they felt the ground shift. That's when they realized the game flipped. That's when it hit them that you weren't chasing anyone anymore. You weren't proving anything anymore. You weren't fighting for a place in their world. You were building your own. That's why they whisper, And even that whisper sounds shaky. That's why they avoid your back, your name, your shadow. Because deep down, they know the universe isn't backing them. It's backing you. Every door that slammed in your face is opening behind them now, and they're terrified because they can't follow. They don't have the strength, the mind, or the soul to walk where you're walking now. Chosen one, your rise is their nightmare. Your silence is their punishment. Your growth is their downfall. And the funniest part? You didn't even do anything to them. You just lived. You healed, you upgraded, you grew into the version of yourself they never saw coming. The universe moves for you now, and they know it, they feel it, they fear it. And listen up, chosen one. Yeah, you, the one they're scared to whisper about. Before we go any further, I want you locked in with me. If you're ready to step deeper into this power they tried to bury, if you're ready to walk through the truth they fear, then drop 777 in the comments and let the universe echo it right back at them. That's your signal, your mark, your reminder that you're not hiding anymore and their silence can't cage you. Hit like, hit subscribe, and strengthen this message so it reaches every corner they tried to keep you out of. Because now we're about to break this open piece by piece. And trust me, if you're a real chosen one, you'll feel that strange pull to stay. You'll feel that quiet voice inside saying, "Don't move, this is yours." The same way their fear pushed them back, your truth is about to pull you forward. So stay right here. Don't blink, don't look away. We're stepping into the next part now. And this is where everything starts to click. Number 1. Their smiles are just gravestones. Their pretending are pretty. Funny how the ones who bragged the loudest now can't even breathe right when your name shows up. Fear hit them so hard, their masks started melting. The truth hits like a brick to the skull. Their smiles aren't confidence, they're cover-ups. Every grin they flash in public is nothing but a shaky attempt to hide the panic scratching at their insides. They sit there pretending they're fine, pretending they're unbothered, pretending they're living their cute little lives. But one look at you and the whole illusion cracks like glass under pressure. You didn't do anything except exist. And somehow, that alone became their worst nightmare. You ever notice the way their eyes flicker when you walk in? That quick microsecond of horror before they force their smile back into place? That's not respect. That's raw fear leaking through a filter they can't control anymore. Behind that mask is someone who knows they messed with the wrong soul. Someone who realizes the universe has switched sides and now watches their every move like a silent judge. They don't fear your hands, they fear your truth. Behind closed doors, they collapse. Their hands tremble when they think too hard about you. Their voice shakes when they try to repeat the stories they once used to tear you down. Even their thoughts betray them. They replay every insult, every fake moment of superiority, every time they smirked thinking you were beneath them. And now that you're rising, it's suffocating them. Their fear isn't logical, it's instinctual. It's survival-level panic, the kind that hits animals right before a storm wipes out their hiding spot. You might wonder, why don't they face me? Why don't they just say it to my face? Simple. Because your presence alone destroys their courage. You stand there with a calm they can't imitate, a power they can't steal, a purpose they can't override. You are the living reminder that every attempt they made to bury you failed. You broke out of their traps like they were made of paper. And here's the part that digs deepest. You don't even have to do anything. You don't yell, you don't chase, you don't fight dirty. You walk with intention, and that alone sends a tremor into their world. They see the energy around you shifting. They feel it in rooms where you haven't even stepped in yet. They hear whispers about your growth, your progress, your transformation. And every rumor about your success is a dagger in their ego. They tried to dim you, but they ended up exposing themselves. Their secrecy is a joke. Their schemes crumble before they start. They talk in circles, whispering in the dark like scared kids, telling ghost stories, hoping the shadows don't answer back. But the universe always answers. And this time, the answer is your rise. You question whether they'll strike again. Let them. Their hits land softer every time. Their words bounce off you like pebbles thrown at a fortress. Their little plots are like wet matches. They spark for a second and then die, leaving them staring at burned fingers. They keep forgetting. Fear makes people stupid. Fear makes them sloppy. Fear makes them loud in the wrong moments and silent in the ones that matter. What they don't understand is that their fear isn't stopping you, it's pushing you forward. Their panic is building momentum under your feet. Their trembling gives you direction. They are accidentally fueling the very thing they try to destroy. And here's a little secret they'd rather choke than admit. They see your strength before you see it. They see the light you carry before you even believe it's real. They see the resilience you built from pain they thought would break you. They know you can't be copied. They know they can't recreate your presence. They know they can't touch the level of growth you've reached. That's why their smiles look so weak now. That's why their jokes don't land. That's why their confidence sounds fake. Deep down, they know they're standing next to someone who survived a storm they would have died in. You ever wonder why they act different when you're not around? Why their bravado gets louder the moment you step away? It's easy to pretend you're strong when the person who exposes you isn't in the room. They don't fear your anger, they fear your evolution. But let them keep the mask on. Let them cling to it like a security blanket. Because masks are weak, masks crack, masks fall. And when they do, the truth underneath is never as powerful as the show they tried to sell. You, on the other hand, don't need a mask. You don't need a show. You don't need an audience. Your presence alone forces the room to shift. You don't need revenge. Your existence is the lesson. You don't need validation. Your growth is the proof. You don't need to call them out. Their fear already does it for you. And here's the most brutal, beautiful truth. Their fear isn't just proof you're rising, it's proof you've already arrived. They feel the shift before you claim it. They feel your time coming before you speak it. They feel the universe closing old doors behind you and opening new ones in front of you. That's why they're scared to talk behind your back now. That's why their words lost flavor. That's why their energy crumbles when you walk in. You are the moment they hoped never came. So let them smile. Let them pretend. Let them hide behind tight grins and shaky hands. The chosen don't chase shadows. The chosen move with clarity, with purpose, with quiet power that burns hotter than any noise they could ever make. The universe already made its decision. It's your time, and they know it. That fear sitting in their chest is the last warning before they watch your rise from the sidelines. Number 2. Their act is rotting in real time, and you're the one they can't hide from. Nothing scares a liar more than the one person who sees them without their costume. Their masks are slipping, and they feel every inch of it peeling off their faces. The same people who once strutted around acting superior are now cracking open like cheap plastic left in the sun. They thought they could keep the show running forever. Fake smiles, fake confidence, fake stories. But now everything they built is falling apart in front of the only pair of eyes that actually matter, yours. And the panic that hits them when they realize you're watching? It's almost poetic. Chosen one, understand this. Their fear isn't just about being exposed. It's about being exposed by you, the one they underestimated, the one they mocked, the one they thought would never catch on. Now, every time they feel their mask slipping, they know exactly who's standing on the other side, seeing the real them with perfect clarity. They hate that feeling. They can't outrun it. It eats them alive. You ever notice how they try a little too hard now? That extra enthusiasm in their voice that doesn't match their eyes? That compliment that sounds forced? That pretend confidence that shakes around the edges? They aren't acting bold. They're acting scared. Their pride is taping their mask together, but you've already seen the cracks. And once you see a person's truth, they can feel it. You don't even need to speak on it. Your silence alone becomes a spotlight that burns through every lie they ever told. People don't panic when they're innocent. They panic when they're exposed. Imagine this for a second. They're standing in front of you, smiling like nothing is wrong, but inside, their heart is running a marathon. Their palms are sweating, their mind is racing, their mask is sliding off inch by inch, and they can feel you noticing. They can feel you reading through them like an open book. They can feel your presence, pressing on every weak spot they tried to hide. That's why their energy feels weird around you. It's fear pretending to be confidence. And now they're wondering how much you know. How long has the chosen one seen through me? What did I do wrong? Where did I slip? How much did they catch? Oh, trust me, they ask themselves these questions, and the answers terrify them. Fear only hits that deep when someone knows exactly what they did and who they did it to. They know you see the emptiness behind the mask. You see the insecurity. You see the jealousy. You see the weakness they tried so hard to hide. Their whole identity was built on pretending to be above you, and now they feel the floor giving out from under them. They feel the shift. They feel the power leaving their hands and moving to yours. And the worst part, you didn't take it. They dropped it, all on their own. Chosen one, imagine this. A stage, spotlights, crowd cheering, and they're doing everything they can to keep their role alive. But their costume is tearing, their lines sound fake, and the audience, you, just crossed your arms and stopped clapping. Their entire performance is dying, and they know it. That's the moment fear becomes desperation. They don't understand how you stay so calm, how you see so much and still don't flinch. They don't get how the universe gave you this ability to read energy, read faces, read intentions, like you're decoding them in real time. It freaks them out. They used to tell themselves you were naive, slow, easy to manipulate. But now that the mask is slipping, they realize they were projecting. They were the weak ones. They were the ones hiding. They were the ones scared. Imagine being so afraid of someone that you can't even keep your lies straight when they walk in the room. That's them, every day now. You might wonder, why don't they just own up to their behavior? Why not drop the act? Because admitting the truth means one thing they can't handle. You were right about them, and that single truth destroys their entire identity. They sold everyone an image of strength. But strength doesn't shake like that. Strength doesn't stutter like that. Strength doesn't fall apart just because you showed up. What's happening now is simple. They're unraveling under the weight of their own lies. Their masks were never built to last. They were built to impress people who don't matter. But you always mattered. And that's what scares them. Chosen one, imagine a mirror cracking slowly. Every line splits deeper. Every fracture spreads wider. That's their mask right now. And you're the mirror they can't escape. They don't fear you seeing their mistakes. They fear you seeing their truth. Because their truth is hollow, insecure, jealous, weak, and desperately stitched together with lies. They're losing control of the narrative. They're losing control of how others see them. They're losing control of how you see them. And once they lose that, their whole identity falls apart. They're not scared of being exposed. They're scared because they can't stop you from seeing them. And here's the part they'll never admit. Your power isn't in calling them out. Your power is in knowing. You know who they are behind the mask. You know what they tried to hide. You know the truth they're terrified the world will notice. And they know you know. Imagine this. They're sitting alone at night, replaying every interaction with you, every lie, every fake smile, every moment they underestimated you, and the realization hits like a punch. The chosen one saw everything. That's why they look shaken. That's why their confidence feels brittle. That's why they avoid eye contact. That's why they talk too much, or not at all. Their masks are slipping, and you didn't even lift a finger. The universe simply aligned the truth in your favor. So what do you do now, chosen one? You keep rising. You keep walking like you already won. Because you did. Their masks falling off isn't your responsibility. It's their consequence. Their unraveling isn't your weight to carry. It's their karma. Their fear isn't your problem. It's your confirmation. They tried to make you the fool in their story, but stories always shift when the truth walks in. And the truth is simple. You're not just watching their masks slip. You're watching their whole world collapse under the pressure of your presence. Let it happen. Let the cracks spread. Let the masks fall. Let the truth show. Because you're not here to protect their illusions. You're here to rise above them. They know you see the real them, and they know they can't stop your rise. Their fear is the last chapter of their era, and the first chapter of yours. Number 3. Their cheap shots broke their own hands, not your spirit. Funny how they aimed their words at your heart, but ended up stabbing their own ego instead. They really thought their little insults had power. They threw words like they were weapons, swinging blindly, hoping something would hit you. They whispered lies behind your back like cowards in a dark alley, convinced their gossip could scratch you. But here's the truth they never had the courage to face. You're not soft clay they can mold. You're steel, cold, unbreakable, forged from every hit they thought would destroy you. Imagine this. They're standing there, tossing daggers made of flimsy glass, smiling like they did something. But the moment those blades touch you, they shatter, and the more they break, the more they panic. Because now they finally see it. You were never the weak one in the room. You were the storm they shouldn't have provoked. Words only carry weight when spoken by someone stronger than you. And your enemies, they don't even register on the scale. You might ask yourself, why did they fight me so hard? Simple. Weak people use words as weapons because it's the only weapon they have. They can't touch your path. They can't touch your purpose. They can't touch the universe backing you. So they turn to cheap tactics. Rumors, lies, mocking tones, fake stories. But every attempt they made only revealed their fear. Their words didn't cut you, they exposed them. Imagine them circling around you, desperate to ruin your name, lighting little fires like children playing with matches. But you're the tidal wave. One step forward from you, and every flame they tried to ignite gets wiped out instantly. They thought they were burning your reputation, but the only thing burning was their own credibility. You heard their insults, you felt their mockery, and instead of breaking, you upgraded. Their attacks became your training ground. Their hate became your fuel. Every hit they threw was another spark that helped shape your evolution. That's why you stand taller now. That's why your presence hits harder now. That's why their voices shake when they speak your name now. They never realized that steel is born in fire. And you've walked through fires they couldn't survive for 5 minutes. Now listen, chosen one, when they speak today, even they don't believe their own words. Their voice cracks, their stories crumble, their insults land flat because your strength overshadows every lie they ever crafted. They're out of daggers, out of breath, out of time. So the next time someone throws shade, remember, steel doesn't flinch when glass shatters. Their words were never weapons, just noise. And you were built to rise above all of it. Number 4. They tried to erase you, but ended up erasing themselves. Wild how pretending you don't exist only made your existence louder. They really thought silence could shrink you. They turned their backs like that was supposed to dim your glow, like ignoring you would make you disappear. Cute. Because while they were busy acting like you didn't matter, you were becoming something they could never outrun. Their silence wasn't confidence. It was fear dressed up as indifference. And now that fear sits on their chest like a weight they can't lift. Imagine this. They sit in their tiny circles, forcing themselves not to say your name, pretending you're irrelevant. But every time they stay quiet, their mind screams louder. They ignore your presence publicly, but privately. You're the only thing their thoughts can't shake. They assumed you needed their attention to grow. Instead, you used their absence like oxygen. Silence doesn't diminish a real one. It just exposes who can't handle the light. Chosen one, you might ask, why ignore me at all? Because acknowledging you means admitting they were wrong, admitting you were always the one with the strength, admitting they saw your potential and panicked. Their silence was supposed to be a weapon, but all it did was set you free from their noise, their limits, their small-minded expectations. Imagine a seed buried deep underground. No applause, no attention, nothing. But in the dark, the seed grows stronger roots than anything on the surface. That was you. While they pretended not to see you, you were building a foundation powerful enough to shake their entire world the moment you broke through. And now, they can't avoid you. You've grown too big, too sharp, too undeniable. Their silence turned into their own trap. They're stuck realizing they missed the chance to stand beside you before your rise became unavoidable. People only ignore what scares them, and nothing scares them more than someone they can't control. They thought ignoring you would shrink your presence. Instead, it shrank them. Now they're haunted by everything they didn't say, every chance they wasted, every moment they underestimated you. You were never diminished. You were evolving, and now you're the only thing they can't look away from. Number 5. Your name is the ghost that sleeps in their regret. Some names heal, yours haunts, and they earned every sleepless night it gives them. Chosen one, your name doesn't sit quietly in their head. It hits them hard. Every time someone speaks it, it's like a reminder of a mistake they can't undo. They flinch inside, even when they hide it well. Your name has become the mirror they can't stand to look into, the one that reflects every wrong choice, every lie they told, every moment they tried to make you smaller so they could feel taller. And now, your name carries the exact weight of everything they lost by doubting you. Imagine this. Someone mentions you casually in a room and their stomach drops. They force a smile, pretend they're fine, but their mind is already spiraling. Because your name feels like a cold knock on the door from a truth they tried to escape. They hear it, and instantly remember the times they mocked you, ignored you, betrayed you, or tried to choke your shine with their envy. And now that you're rising, that same name they dismissed has become the proof of their failure. They didn't expect your name to become a crown. They thought it would stay a bruise. Your name isn't a sound to them. It's a scar, a reminder that they misjudged the wrong person. They could have supported you, they could have stood beside you, but arrogance blinded them, and now regret is eating them alive. They see your progress, your rise, your glow, and every time your name comes up, it's like someone dragging their ego across gravel. And you might think, what if they pretend they always believed in me? Let them pretend. People rewrite history when reality embarrasses them. They'll say they knew you'd make it, but you and the universe know better. Their regret is loud. It leaks through their voice, their posture, their forced excitement when they hear about your wins. They're not happy for you, they're haunted by you. Imagine your name floating through a room like a spotlight they can't escape. They look down. They fidget. They swallow their pride like it tastes bitter. Because your name is no longer the one they tried to bury. It's the reminder that you rose anyway. Your name became the storm they laughed at until it hit. And now, your name is spoken with respect in places they can't enter. Doors open for you that will stay shut for them forever. Every time they hear it, they're reminded of the distance they created, between who you are and who they remain. They carry the weight. You carry the legacy. They drown in regret. You rise in purpose. Because your name isn't a memory, it's a message. A symbol of a person who refused to break. A person they underestimated until the universe proved them wrong. A person who kept rising while they were too busy trying to dim a light they couldn't touch. Chosen one, keep rising. Your name will only get heavier for them and lighter for you. Number 6. They're choking on the chains they built for you. People don't get trapped by your power. They get trapped by their fear of it. Chosen one, let's call it what it is. They're prisoners, not because you punished them, not because the universe punished them, but because they punished themselves. Every lie they whispered, every scheme they cooked up, every moment they tried to paint you as lesser, those weren't attacks, those were metal links. And now, those links are wrapped around their ankles, dragging them through the very darkness they hoped would swallow you. Imagine them hammering each link with their own insecurity, thinking they were forging a lock for your cage. But every clang was really sealing their own. That's the tragedy of envy. It always circles back and bites the one who felt it. They tried to chain your steps, but ended up chaining their breath. You might wonder, why are they so stuck now? Why can't they move the way they used to? Because fear rewired them. Their own mind became the prison guard. Your rise became the alarm bell. Every win you collect tightens their chains. Every move you make steals another inch of their freedom. They're paranoid now, second-guessing their every word, every plan, every fake smile. They're choking on the evidence of their own failure. Imagine this. You're walking your path clean, focused, eyes ahead. Meanwhile, behind you, they're tangled in chains made of their own doubts, tripping over everything they built to stop you. Irony is savage like that. They didn't fear your actions, they feared your existence. See, their fear was never about what you did. It was about what you represent: strength, clarity, evolution, freedom. You broke the mold they're still worshipping. You shattered the limits they cling to, and watching you rise forced them to confront the truth they hate. They could have risen too, but they chose cowardice instead. Fear doesn't choose sides. It eats whoever hands it a seat at the table, and they fed it like it was their god. So now they sit there, chained, trembling, pretending everything is fine, while their own fear strangles every step forward. Meanwhile, you didn't even notice their chains snapping shut. You were too busy growing, too busy evolving, too busy stepping into a world where they cannot follow, cannot touch, cannot influence. You didn't escape their trap. You simply walked right past it. Imagine a door swinging open for you while theirs locks itself shut behind them. Not because you slammed it, but because their own fear closed it. They're stuck replaying every move they made against you, wondering if that was the moment the chains formed. Spoiler, it was all of them. Chosen one, their fear is not your responsibility. Their chains are not your burden. And freeing them, that's not your mission. They forged their cage. They hold the key. They just don't have the courage to use it. So keep walking. Keep rising. Let your freedom be the thing they can't stand to look at. Because the only chains left in this story, the ones cutting into their skin, are the chains they built with their own hands, trying to stop someone who was never going to break. You were born to move. They were born to fear that movement. Number 7. You're the storm they warned themselves about. Funny how the people who mocked your silence are now praying you stay quiet. Chosen one, they begged the universe for calm skies because deep down they knew you were the storm waiting on the horizon, not the cute drizzle they could shrug off, not the little breeze they could pretend to ignore. You're the kind of storm that flips landscapes, exposes roots, and tears down anything held together by lies. And they felt it coming. That's why they tried so hard to keep you small. That's why their voices shook every time you took even one step forward. Imagine them huddled together, whispering your name like it's forbidden. They prayed you'd stay harmless, prayed you'd stay unaware of your strength, prayed the universe forgot about you. But storms aren't created for comfort. Storms exist to shift what needs to be shifted. You weren't born to fit their script. You were born to tear it apart. They didn't fear you rising. They feared you realizing you could. They're panicked now. It's not strategy, it's desperation. They're scrambling like leaves in the wind while you move with force they can't map out. They told themselves you were predictable until you weren't. They tried to treat you like background noise, but your power hit like thunder cracking over their heads. You didn't sneak up on them, you erupted, and now they're running from the shockwaves of your evolution. You might wonder, what if they fight back? Let them. Shouting at a storm doesn't stop the rain. Their resistance is nothing but noise, and noise doesn't move a force born from purpose. You're rewriting the landscape they tried to control. You're clearing out the weak foundations they stood on. You're everything they hoped would never show up. Storms don't ask for permission. They happen. So keep moving. Keep shaking their fragile world. Keep proving that their fear was the prophecy they wrote for themselves. You are the storm they prayed would never come. And now they're living inside the aftermath of your rise. Number 8. The crown they fought for was never in their reach. Some people don't fail because the crown is too high. They fail because the crown refuses to lower itself for them. Chosen one, they stretched their hands toward something that never once leaned their way. They clawed, plotted, lied, bragged, performed, all for a crown that stayed perfectly still. Why? Because the universe doesn't hand royalty to frauds. It doesn't bend to ego. It doesn't reward desperation. The crown knew exactly who it belonged to, and it wasn't them. Imagine this. They jump, reach, scream, gather allies, whisper schemes, all while the crown hangs there, untouched, unmoved, almost insulted by their efforts, because a crown isn't a toy you grab. It responds to truth, to endurance, to evolution. And you, chosen one, were the only one who possessed all three. Their hands were stained with envy, their intentions crooked, their confidence fake. That's why the crown didn't even flinch when they reached for it. They weren't denied because of you, they were denied because of who they are. They thought you were competition. They thought you were standing in their way, but you weren't even in their lane. You didn't chase the crown, they chased the illusion. You were too busy rising, too busy becoming, too busy building the strength that crown requires. While they obsessed over appearances, you mastered substance. While they performed for validation, you evolved in silence. Imagine them gripping at smoke. That's what their attempts looked like. The crown simply slipped through them because it recognizes worth. And worth isn't loud. It's not dramatic. It's not desperate. It's steady. It's earned. It's etched into your being through struggle they never had the backbone to endure. They wanted the crown's shine, but feared its weight. That's where they failed. They craved the glory, but couldn't handle the responsibility. They loved the idea of power, but trembled at the discipline it demands. They wanted recognition without transformation. And the crown rejects people like that. It always has. Chosen one, the crown didn't fall into your hands. It waited for you, patiently, quietly, confident you'd grow into the kind of force that could carry it without breaking. And now that you're stepping into that power, look at them, standing in the ruins of their own ambition, watching you claim what was never up for debate. They hate it. They resent it. They'll pretend they never wanted it. But deep down they know the crown fits only one person, the one who survived, the one who rose, the one who was built for it, you. So put it on, let it sit heavy, let it shine bright, let it blind every enemy who tried to take what wasn't theirs, because this crown isn't a prize, it's proof. Proof that destiny can't be stolen, proof that worth can't be faked, proof that everything meant for you will always find its way home. And this crown, it found you. Number 9. You're the reflection that exposes their limits. Some people don't break because of what you do. They break because standing next to you forces them to see the truth. Chosen one, you're not hurting them with actions, you're hurting them with existence. You walk in a room and suddenly every insecurity they buried starts clawing its way back to the surface. They feel it instantly, that sting in the chest, that tightness in the throat, that panic behind the smile. You're not just a person to them, you're a mirror they can't escape. And what they see in that reflection, everything they fear they'll never become. They don't hate you for your wins. They hate you because your wins expose their losses. They don't despise your confidence. They despise how fragile theirs looks next to yours. They can't stand your strength because it highlights the weakness they tried to hide under jokes, gossip, fake confidence, and loud performances. Imagine this, you walk in with quiet presence, not even trying to outshine anyone, and their whole persona glitches, their voice cracks, their energy shifts, their smile stiffens. Why? Because you reflect the truth. They've been lying to themselves. They're not threatened by your rise, they're threatened by what your rise reveals about them. You're playing a different game. They spent their lives choosing shortcuts, pretending, copying, inflating themselves with illusions. Meanwhile, you built everything from real pain, real lessons, real evolution. When they stand next to you, the contrast is brutal. Your substance, their noise, your depth, their surface, your purpose, their performance. They throw insults because admiration feels too humiliating. They spread rumors because admitting they envy you would crush their ego. They exaggerate their wins because your reality outshines their stories. And still none of it works. You can't dim a light that isn't powered by them in the first place. You might ask, why are they so obsessed with me? Because your presence destroys their illusions. You walk by and suddenly their confidence feels fake. Their achievements feel small. Their strength feels borrowed. You trigger the truth they've been running from. And truth is a truth, even when they deny it. You don't compete with them. You expose them. That's why you don't have to speak. Your silence cuts deeper than their loudest attacks. They can't handle someone who doesn't need applause, someone who doesn't bend for approval, someone whose identity isn't built on shaky ground. And here's the twist. They admire you more than they admit. Under all their hate is respect they're too weak to express. Under all their envy is the wish they had your courage. But instead of rising with you, they choose resentment. Instead of learning, they choose denial. Chosen one, don't shrink for their comfort. Don't dim your shine for their insecurity. You're not here to hold their hand through the truth. You're here to rise in it. Let them melt under their own reflection. Let them squirm when your name comes up. Let them break if that's what their ego demands. You are the mirror, the one that shows them what they could have been but chose not to become. And as they wrestle with that truth, you keep rising, untouchable, undeniable, unshaken. Their hate isn't your problem. It's your proof. You're too real for their illusions, too strong for their shadows, too evolved for their comfort. Keep shining. They'll either level up or crumble. Either way, you already won. Number 10. You're not just in front. You're out of their universe. Some people aren't behind you. They're simply not built to exist on the level you're operating on. Chosen one, let's say it plain. You're not ahead of them in a race. You're in a completely different dimension. They chased you like children chasing their own shadows. Loud footsteps, frantic energy, zero results. They kept thinking, we can catch up. But how do you catch someone who's already finished the game and walked off the field? They measured you using tiny rulers. They judged you by their weak standards. They thought this was competition, but you weren't competing. You were evolving. While they were comparing themselves to you, you weren't even thinking about them. While they were scrambling for crumbs, you were baking the whole table. While they obsessed over how things looked, you mastered what things felt like. And now, they finally understand the truth they feared the most. You're not just ahead. You're untouchable. Imagine them running, sweating, gasping, convinced they're getting close, only to realize they're sprinting toward a finish line you crossed ages ago. They're not frustrated because you're better. They're frustrated because nothing they do can make you flinch. Nothing they try works. Nothing they throw at you lands. You move like a storm gliding over a house of cards, unaffected, unstoppable, and honestly, uninterested. They didn't fail to beat you. They failed to realize they were never even in your league. Every trap they set snapped shut on them. Every rumor they started dissolved before it touched your name. Every attempt to block your path became another step in your rise. You walked through their chaos with the calm of someone who knows exactly who they are. And that's what terrifies them, your peace, not your power. You might wonder, why do they keep trying? Because their ego can't accept reality, because admitting you're unreachable means admitting their entire identity was built on lies, because watching you rise without their permission breaks them in ways they can't admit out loud. Imagine them staring at you now, confused, frustrated, humiliated. They threw jealousy, hate, doubt, mockery, and still you rose. You're a skyscraper built from every stone they threw, and now that you're standing so high they can't even see the top. Their last piece of hope is denial. Denial that you're chosen. Denial that you're protected. Denial that you're the one the universe keeps pushing forward. You're not beyond their reach because you ran faster. You're beyond their reach because your path was built in a place their envy can't enter. Chosen one, understand this. Their frustration is the background music to your ascension. Their disbelief is the applause they'll never admit they're giving you. Their failed attempts weren't losses, they were confirmations. Confirmations that you're chosen. Confirmations that you're protected. Confirmations that they can't touch you. So keep going, keep rising, keep stepping forward like the entire universe is clearing the road for you, because it is. Let them exhaust themselves in the shadows while you move effortlessly in the light. They can't catch you. They can't reach you. They can't touch what's destined. And you're untouchable, unbothered, and already far beyond their world. Number 11. They swung at you and shattered their own spine. People don't break because of your strength. They break because they finally realize theirs was fake. Chosen one, the funniest part of this whole saga is how they truly believed they could destroy you. They came at you with lies, insults, whispers, sabotage, every weak trick in their tiny toolbox. They thought you'd fold. They thought you'd crumble. They thought you'd disappear into the pressure. Instead, every hit they threw bounced back and cracked their own foundation. Imagine them swinging a hammer at steel, convinced it'll bend. But the more they swing, the more their hands bleed. That's exactly what happened. They weren't fighting you. They were fighting their delusion that you were fragile. And now, the delusion is gone, replaced with the brutal truth they tried to deny. You were unbreakable the entire time. They didn't just fail to break you, they broke themselves trying. Remember those days when they dropped venom like it made them powerful? The lies, the gossip, the smirks, the alliances built on insecurity? All of it was supposed to crush you, but while they wasted their breath, you were evolving. While they threw stones, you built armor. While they plotted, you transformed. Every attack they launched was another spark, forging you into steel. And now, they're choking on the smoke of their own destruction. Their plans didn't halt your rise, they boosted it. Their noise didn't dim your light, it forced it to shine brighter. Their hate didn't weaken your spirit, it proved how strong it already was. Look at them now. They're the ones shaking. They're the ones cracking. Their walls are caving in because they were never built to handle the weight of consequences. They thought you'd collapse under pressure, but now they're suffocating under the pressure they created. Why? Because their entire identity depended on breaking you. You were their excuse not to grow, their distraction from their own emptiness, their comfort zone, their obsession. But now that you've risen beyond their reach, their poisonous energy has nowhere left to go but inward. And what they're finding in the quiet is terrifying. They never had the strength they claimed. They never had the courage they performed. They never had the backbone to face the truth. Every stone they threw at you turned into the rubble, burying them. Chosen one, you didn't defeat them by fighting back. You defeated them by surviving, by standing still while their own ego made them self-destruct. You are the mountain they broke themselves against. And now they're trapped, panicking, spiraling, scrambling for control they never actually had. They're drowning in the chaos they created, and you're rising untouched, unbothered, unshaken. That's the part that destroys them the most. You didn't have to lift a finger. Their downfall isn't your karma, it's their consequence. It's the price of underestimating someone they never understood. You weren't fragile, you weren't weak, you weren't theirs to break. You were destined, and destiny doesn't bow to cowards. So let them crumble under the weight of their own choices. Let them sit in the ruins of their arrogance. Let them feel what it's like to fight a war against someone who never even fought back. Because now, your rise is undeniable. Your strength is visible. Your power is unmistakable. And if you're ready to step even deeper into your purpose, hit like, smash subscribe, and drop 77 in the comments to claim your strength. Share this with someone who needs to feel their own power returning. Keep rising, chosen one. The ones who tried to break you are breaking themselves instead.